Oh, well, here we go at 21 past 10, folks.
It's time now for the latest news on what's hot and what's not in the world of technology with Matthew Dickerson on Tech Talk. Here on TCFM 88.9.
Morning, Matthew.
We are talking about something that's very hot this morning. It's a good intro.
Yeah. It is indeed. I have got this question. I promoted this segment yesterday by saying the question that you are asking today: who's the one person you don't want to send an X-rated video of yourself to? And the answer's got to be...
Well, the interesting part is I try not to make X-rated videos because I don't want people to see X-rated videos of me. But if you're not going to send one to someone, then your mother would be the person that you don't want to send it to.
Yeah, exactly.
And so this poor woman...
Tell us the story. It's a classic.
So Cara Tonen's her name, and she used the very good feature in Google Photos or on a Google Drive where you can actually tag someone, use the artificial intelligence in Google Drive to automatically take those photos of that particular person you've tagged and put them in your photo album. You take a photo, take a video of someone, puts it there. So in this case, she tagged her son and said, I'm going to create an album. Every time I take a photo of my son, it goes in that album. Oh, my mum might like to see that album because that's her grandson, so that's all nice. So she shared the album with her mum, and mum used to look at photos and videos of her grandson. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. She decided, for whatever reason, I don't want to ask exactly why, but she decided to make an X-rated video, presumably for her husband or a partner, and she did it in the kitchen. Now again, I don't want to think about why she did it in the kitchen. Let's just skip that part of the thought process. On the refrigerator was a nice photo of her son. So, Google Photos, saw this video, saw the picture of her son in the background, automatically uploaded the video to the shared album that was shared with her mum. Her mum thought, oh, here's another video, isn't that nice? I'll open it up and have a look at my grandson. And of course, she got a bit more than her grandson. I'm sure her mother didn't watch too much of it, but she would have made a very quick phone call to her daughter saying, darling, I've just watched a video of you. Yeah, I saw way more than I needed to.
Yeah, darling, what's going on here? Anyway.
So artificial intelligence is a fantastic feature that we're seeing in new devices, but sometimes it doesn't get it quite right. And there's an example where it wasn't quite getting it right.
Okay. This is a good one. It's going to be harder to create a social media account. Well, maybe a points system.
Maybe, and this is a really tough one for the government. The government's considering a report where to create a social media account, Facebook, a Tinder account, whatever it might be, you might need to provide 100 points of ID in just the same way as if you walked into a bank and said, hi, I'm Billy Bloggs, I want to create a bank account, and they'd say, sure, show us your ID. The idea is to try and minimise bullying because there are people out there, I know you might find this hard to believe, Richard, but there are people out there who create fake social media accounts, believe it or not. So, people create...
I don't find it at all unbelievable. There are so many fake media accounts around the place and so many creating them, and I can honestly say that they happen locally. But anyway, carry on.
Exactly right. So people might want to create fake social media accounts because they might want to go and bully or harass someone. They might want to try and change public opinion. They might go and create 20 or 30 social media accounts and then post a story from themselves and then have all these fake accounts come and put comments on there and add comments, oh, this is wonderful, this is fantastic, or whatever the sort of mood they want to create from that. So people do that. And then when someone is bullied, harassed, intimidated, whatever it might be, and they say, this is the account that did it, and there's no one behind that account, there's no one to be held responsible. So the government report, quite logically in my mind, says we might see a reduction in bullying, a reduction in intimidation via social media if people actually had to be who they really are behind the scenes rather than just make up something. Now, on the flip side of that, you've had some data breaches from various social media accounts over the years, and so having more information stored with these social media services, so your passport or your driver's license number or birth certificate details, if all those details are there and there was another data breach, then people on the flip side of this argument say, do we really want these social media services holding all this information, and then when there's a data breach, all that information is out there in the wrong hands? There's been some commentary about whether it will actually reduce bullying. My simplistic view of the world is I think people are less likely to bully someone if it's really them that's actually having to appear, and they might be held accountable for that. There are some experts who say that it won't reduce the incidences of bullying and intimidation. So it's a really interesting one, interesting report. The government's got to make a decision on this one way or the other, be interesting to see which way they go.
Politically, though, all these fake accounts are used to try and push an idea, and from a political perspective, that particular politician with the fake accounts is saying, "Oh, you know, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this," can bias an election.
Well, you're exactly right. And so maybe politicians in making the decision on this mightn't want the ability to have 100 points of ID behind every account, because maybe it's in their best favour if they don't have the legitimate person behind
I
there.
reckon some politicians wouldn't make 100 anyway.
You may be right.
Think about it. There could be a couple there. How do you make $1 million in a couple of weeks?
It's not something that I think everyone can do, but this particular young gamer, he's about 23 years of age, decided that he would try a bit of an experiment and he would live stream himself doing whatever, just his day-to-day life, doing whatever he was doing. And he had about 500,000 followers on Twitch, which is mainly a gaming platform. And he said, I'll keep live streaming whatever people keep paying. You pay $5 for a subscription, I'll add 20 seconds to how long I'll keep streaming for. Bit of an experiment. Here he is now a few weeks later. He's racked up over $2.5 million in subscriptions. Twitch do a 50-50 deal, so he's taken about $1.2 million in his pocket, US dollars this is, for him to keep streaming himself, live streaming 24 hours a day. He's up to about 2 weeks now. So he sleeps, that's live streamed. He eats breakfast, that's live streamed. He goes to the toilet, that's live streamed. He has a shower. He does wear shorts in the shower, so he has a shower, live stream. Whatever he does, it's just live streaming him 24 hours a day. But in a couple of weeks, he's managed to generate $1.2 million in his pocket.
That's staggering, isn't it?
Oh, it's incredible.
What people will watch.
What has been incredible is he's gone from 500,000 followers on Twitch up to about 2.2 million followers in the process, but also added a few dollars to his bank account. So it's quite incredible. If you would have said to me a few weeks ago, hey, live stream someone and make a few million, I went, really? Who wants to watch that? But apparently people do.
Well, there's another one that people watch. There's a railway company, a railway following in America, and I was talking to them on a train when I was in America, and they say, oh, we've got live streaming on various railway crossings. And the live stream is on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and every now and again they get a thump, and they get a car or the train hits something, and they lift those off and put them onto and they get all sorts of hits for that. I don't know for money, but anyway, and apparently in one particular state, they've got 26 cameras on 26 railway crossings waiting for trains to hit cars and trucks.
Wow. And I can understand the owners of the railway line might have those cameras there, but then live streaming it, I'm not quite sure there's any advantage in live streaming it, but obviously people like that.
Well, I said to them, the Amtrak happy about you live streaming their trains and their track, and they went a bit coy when they were answering that one. They changed the subject very quickly.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So, yep, you want to generate a couple $1 million, just live stream yourself for just a few weeks. He's actually changed the conditions now. It became so, it was going to go for so long that he's changed it now. $5 subscription only gets you 10 seconds of extra viewing. And he has said after 31 days, I've got to stop it. I need a break. So he'll get to 31 days. But by that time, he might have generated $3 or $4 million in his back pocket.
Well, exactly. And he doesn't need to do any more anyway. He can wander off into the ether and have a happy life. Very quickly, which company was number 3 in the smartphone company world? They've given up.
They've given up. Good old LG.
LG,
At
yeah.
one stage, LG were number 3 smartphone manufacturer in the world. They sold the 3rd most number of smartphones in the world. Fantastic. And they've come up with some different ideas. They've come up with curved ones. They've come up with a T-flipped smartphone. So they keep changing their ideas. They even had a rollable smartphone as recently as a couple of months ago. But they've got to the point now where they've said, we can't see any way we can make money in our smartphone business. We can't even sell our smartphone business. It's wasting resources on it. We've got lots of other exciting things we can do. Our TVs are fantastic. Our other entertainment systems are great. So we're giving up. So the Apples and the Samsungs, the Huaweis, the Oppos, those big names of the world would be celebrating at the moment. Another competitor has gone by the wayside, and they can just keep fighting out amongst themselves.
Yeah, indeed. Where's Nokia in all this?
Well, see, Nokia's an interesting one. Nokia, the company doesn't exist anymore,
Yeah.
but Nokia, the brand, the name, if you like, which was still a well-known brand name, was bought by TCL, and so they're essentially making phones under license or under that agreement, if you like. So they're branding them Nokia, but they're again made by TCL. So that's still kept the brand name going along, BlackBerry a bit the same. BlackBerry basically dead and buried, but the BlackBerry name still means something. So you've got companies that are manufacturing phones with the BlackBerry tag on them because it's a name that people recognise. So there's a couple of companies like that have continued on. But meanwhile, let's say the Apples and the Samsungs, the Huawei's, the Xiaomi's. I mean, there's some of these Chinese brands because they've got such a good market there. They've got the 1.4 billion people in China to try and sell their own products to. That gives them a pretty good advantage in terms of the manufacturing processes. But yeah, who knows what brands we'll see in 5 years' time, 10 years' time? They're changing constantly.
Indeed, and the phones are changing constantly too.
Absolutely.
To keep sell.
Exactly
I'm
right.
just wondering, with our listening audience, is there anybody out there? And I'd love them to get on the Facebook page and tell us they haven't got a mobile phone.
Yeah, it's a very small percentage without mobile phones. The percentage with smartphones is up into the 90% bracket now. So across, and I'm talking about adults. So you might see people that are 8 or 10 years of age might not have a smartphone or any phone, but in adults, they're up into the low 90s that are all smartphones now.
If you're 18 and over, get on our Facebook page and confess that you haven't got a phone. I'd just like, and please tell us why. I'd love to know why.
Yeah, interesting.
It'd be very interesting.
Yep.
Matt, always good to talk to you.
Thanks, Richard.
We're way over time as usual, but anyway, that's by the by. It's 27 to 11 DCFM 88.9. Tech Tip back at the usual time, around about 9:30, 9:20, 9:30. Next Wednesday morning with Matthew Dickerson.